Hi, it's Gwyneth here on a fabulous Feel Good Friday, helping you to feel fabulous about being you. And this week, I want to talk a little bit about taking decisions, career clarity. What steps should I take next? Over the past few weeks, my work around helping people take that decision, career clarity. Do I even want to stay an employee? Maybe I want to be an entrepreneur. Very, very interesting conversations. But there are a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and I love doing what I do. But so many of them start off with saying, well, this job offers this and this job has that, and that contract is for this long, but the salary is quite nice. And there always seems to be an either or perspective. You know, either I do this or I do that, and there's nothing in the middle. So the first thing I want to tell you about taking a decision when it comes to your career, regardless, like I said, of whether you are going to apply to another position, full-time employed, or if you are actually going to take the fantastic leap to being an entrepreneur, maybe a consultant in your area of expertise. But when you are taking that decision, the first thing you need to understand is nothing is set in stone. If you have been doing a job for 5, 10, maybe even 15 years in the same organization or business, it can be very easy to become blinkered. You can only see straight ahead or left or right, and everything in between. It's just like you can't even think about it because you have been just going in one direction for such a long time. So number one has to be for you to understand that whichever decision you take, it is not set in stone. You are in control of you. You must take ownership of who you are and what you want for you. And that ownership includes you being able to say, potentially after 6 months or a year, you know what? Actually, this isn't for me. I'm going to look for something else again. Now, this is not about dumping your job today, your well-paid job today, and say, right, I'm just going to throw all caution to the wind and, go and do something different. That's not what it's about, because at some level, security and stability is important for a lot of people, especially after the past 16 months that we've just all been through with so much uncertainty. Nothing is set in stone. It's your life. You can take ownership. Even if you decide, you take the decision, you go and do something, you don't like it, you don't have to do it forever. Start looking for something else. You don't have to leave and then do something. Let it flow. Yeah, just go with the flow. And well, I think the question I always ask my clients is, the question is not actually, is this going to work out? The question is going to be, how are you going to feel in a year or 6 months or 6 years if you don't actually take this decision, if you don't take this action, if you don't decide to apply to this new position, if you don't decide to actually give it a go as an entrepreneur. Number two is that fact that when you are using logic in these processes, you will never get a satisfactory answer. Now, the analogy I want to give you here is that of an interview. And I know that there will be some human resource people jumping up and down because it's it's a difficult area. It's a minefield. Everything has to be as fair and transparent as possible. But the fact of the matter is, if you get invited to an interview, somebody somewhere has decided on paper, you meet the criteria. Your application looks interesting. You have potentially the relevant experience. There may be a couple of little gaps, but that's okay because we all need to keep growing professionally. We need to keep learning to stay alive. And your educational background is also satisfactory. It meets the demands of the position. When it comes to the interview, I want to know, what is your work ethic? How do you approach your job? Can I trust you? Are you honest? Are you reliable? Are you going to get on with the other members of the team? And all of those aspects of the interview are emotional. When you get to interview, it's all about, how is it going to feel to work with you? How am I going to feel when I see you every day? How am I going to feel if you're not there and I have to delegate your work to somebody else? How are your teammates going to feel when they have to do the work for you? How am I going to feel if I'm not there and I know I have to trust you, rely on you to get the job done? So trying to use logic for an important decision like the next step in your career is a bad move. You'll never, like I said, you'll never get a satisfactory answer. You need to listen to what your body is telling you. Your body will never, ever lie. It's just that because of all the technology and all the mechanical stuff going on around us, we've stopped listening. You've heard of gut instinct, right? So when you are thinking about that decision, what should I do next? First of all, get it onto paper so that you can start reading it back. And as you are reading it back to yourself, pay close attention. Are there butterflies, or is there something doesn't feel quite right about this? And trust your instinct, because you have so much more knowledge about yourself than you think you do. Like I said, technology is fabulous, but we've all become very technically minded, mechanically minded, efficient, effective, and all those things. And we've stopped listening to our emotions. Listen to your emotions in this process. You cannot use logic to take a decision for an emotional activity. Even when the NASA was getting ready to send people to the moon, even when that rocket launched, even when they had to decide what's good, all the statistics. I'm not rocket scientist by any means, but the fact of the matter is, of course, there was a lot of science there. There was a lot of evidence, but even all the tests, all the experiments that they'd undertaken, they didn't know. At the end of the day, somebody had to take a decision, yes or no, let's send a rocket to the moon. Excuse me. So just think about, question yourself. If you're saying, no, I'm going to use logic, I'm just going to look at the length of the contract and how much they're paying, and that's how I'm going to make my decision, absolutely fine. But I promise you, if you have an iota of doubt, that doubt will become louder, potentially turn into resentment. So 2 things there that I've suggested you do today to really help you take that decision with clarity. And like I said, be honest with yourself. Have that honest conversation. If possible, don't listen to family and friends, because going to a job interview, deciding what you want to do next in your professional life is going to change your life forever. Regardless of whether you then change your mind again, it's still going to change your life. So those 2 things, it's okay to take a decision. Taking a decision is the best thing that can happen for your brain, because your brain doesn't like confusion, it wants clarity. And if it turns out it wasn't a great decision, then make another decision and do something else. Nothing is set in stone. And the second thing is to please listen to your body, listen to your gut instinct, your sixth sense, your heart, whatever it is you want to listen to, because taking these types of decisions, it's an emotional process. You cannot use logic for these important career clarity questions. On that note, I wish you a fabulous Feel Good Friday, an amazing weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay fabulous. Loads of love, and bye for now.